Hello and welcome to my next chess video. This time I show you the game between Deep Fritz 14 versus Monarch 1.7, and I let them play the Caro-Kann advanced variation, to be exact this position right here, which you see on the left side, and this arises after the moves I just showed you. And yeah, well, now it's Black's move. I let them play without opening book or table bases, and the Sovereign is, or Monarch 1.7 is preparing knight b8 to d7. So this move clearly prepares the move c5. So for example c3 I would play here, and after c5 I would just castle. And now queen b6 for example, hitting this pawn one more time. But you can just go a4 here, maybe a4. What to play here? If you play knight to d7, it's hard to do this, but maybe you can just take this, and after bishop takes, go for b4 to hit the bishop. So bishop to d7, and now you can attack the queen, for example. And after queen c7, you can maybe go queen b3 here to prepare knight to d7 and some rook to the c file, and maybe prepare c5. Also this knight can jump into d4 to b4 maybe. So let's try a5 here. Knight d7, takes, and now a rook is coming to the b file, and this knight can jump out, but it doesn't do so much. Just a3. You can also just snap it off, or just play the rook to the c file, rook here, rook ac1 maybe, and queen goes here attacking the pawn. And now just this move. No, you cannot go there because of the bishop. So okay, those squares aren't possible. Wait a bit. Now this pawn is attacked twice. I just recognized this. So you could go queen to d4 to add one more attacker, but then maybe f6 is a move, and if you take, then bishop takes. So this isn't that clear for white. I don't know if white has an advantage here, but this should be played queen to d4. I don't know about queen d4. You can take this, and after bishop takes you can go there, and after takes, retreating the bishop, and then playing the rook to the c file, just to be able to develop the knight. But there must be some easier way to do this. Okay, we have castles instead of c3, knight d7, and we have castles immediately. And now the move bishop to e7 is planned. So you don't really want to play c4 maybe, c5 maybe immediately, because of c3, it just transposes. So bishop there. Now what? Knight c3 maybe. You could also go bishop e3 now. After bishop e7, you could go bishop e3 to, well, prevent is a little hard to say, but to make c5 harder. But then queen b6 going after this pawn. You could maybe sacrifice, no, because the c pawn is also hanging. So queen b6, maybe b3, preparing c4, then c5, just trying. Here you can go c3, knight c3, knight d2, or c4. I think knight c3 isn't that great because it's on an unprotected square, and then queen b4 could come. So let's go with knight d7. If takes, you can take with the bishop attacking the queen. And yeah, if you block with the bishop, just do that and play the move c5. But then after takes, knight takes, queen d7. Not sure if this is so great for black. So knight d2. So c5. Let's not play c5 here. Let's castle queenside, but this runs into c4. Maybe takes here, and then d5 is threatened. So not even sure about queen b6 here in that position because of b3. So let's try something else. This knight bd2 is the best move according to Fritz. To deep Fritz, instead of bishop e3, knight bd2. And preparing c4 even one move faster. Then I would go knight to here. h3, bishop back to prepare square for the knight. c4, knight here hits that pawn. And after takes, you basically got nothing here as white. But problems. Maybe this queen is still coming here, attacking this d pawn. So let's say knight b3 to be able to move the bishop, and then just castle. So there must be something else in the position. a3 bishop here. No. You have to move the knight instantly. Knight here, so that you can snap this knight off after all, so that it doesn't land here on this f5 square. But you could also go argue for something like h5, knight b3 and knight there, so that after this takes, you can take with the rook, and now the rook is coming in to the g file and adds some pressure there. So this isn't that bad, I think. So let's continue with this. Knight bd2 we have on the board, and now h5. Let's cover this h5 move. c5, knight a3. You don't really want to take there, because then the knight jumps in. This knight isn't doing that much here on g4, so you don't have to do something there. Bishop back, covering this pawn. And now b4 maybe. Knight here, and knight to b3 maybe, or maybe even b5. Then takes, bishop takes, and yeah, black's position should be fine there. I have no clear plan what to do there. f6 we have instead of h5, but f6, yeah, it's not bad, this break. It's also a thematic pawn break in the Caro-Kann. So okay, we have knight bd2, and now instead of h5 we have the move f6 on the board. Now knight b3 takes probably, and now h5. Now I would go h5. To prepare some knight jump. Knight here. Yeah, but f6 weakened the position a little bit. So I wouldn't have played f6. f6, knight bd2. Pawn takes h5. Now maybe c4. c4 again. Knight here. Knight there. Maybe c5. Knight takes bishop, and bishop takes there with check. So this is very bad. Knight here hits the pawn. So, okay, h5. Not quite sure about h5. Maybe knight here immediately. But then still, knight there. But then the bishop can retreat. And then you can give up this bishop for the knight and go for something like this maybe. This does nothing because the knight is currently defended. You can just move the king and prepare the move f5. So maybe takes, and c5. Yeah, but then you lose the e3, the e6 pawn. So this can't be right. f6 was a mistake. I think f6 wasn't the greatest of all moves. So knight bd2. h5 I want to cover here. Let's continue with knight h3 and knight there. c5. No, c5 is under lock and key. No, it is not. So, but now it's white's move. So c4. Bishop going back. C takes d. C takes d and yeah, I would take this, and because if it's landing on this square, it's very hard to get rid of. So I would eliminate it immediately. And after rook takes, I would play rook to the c file. And yeah, this doesn't look better for white, but also doesn't look worse. So you can go for something like this. So knight bd2 we had, and then f6. And after f6, we had this knight b3 and now a5. So not taking, but a5. Okay, let's go a4, b5. You could go here on the queen side, and if this, then you can kick the knight and protect. I'm not sure if b5 is a move there. So a4 should be played. Also, Deep Fritz 14 is thinking about a4. b4 is a pawn sacrifice, takes, knight back, and then taking there, and going knight here. Takes and knight there. This could be an option just to gain activity for 2 pawns, I think. 1 pawn you will get back, but b5 is not how should I put it? Is not the main move. The Monarch thinks g5 is a good move there. I doubt in g5. Takes f6, and now you have to take bishop takes. Okay, you're on that pawn a little bit. No, you can't jump in. And white is threatening the move g4. So this is not this move. White is threatening g4. So maybe h3. And now knight h6. Still going after this g4. So g4 from white. Bishop returns back. And now you also covered that square. But okay, this knight on d7 is still nice. It's covering both of these squares where the white knights want to jump. So this, I don't find a way to crush this g5. So we have a4. And now we don't have g5, but g5 is nice to investigate later maybe. We have knight to h6 immediately. E takes f6, bishop takes f6. Giving up the bishop for the knight, I don't know. But what else? c3, c4. Let's try and make some active move, c4. But I doubt it that this will help here. For example, rook there, bishop d2, c6 to prevent this pawn from being captured. Pawn takes, and now bishop to here is threatened, so rook there, and now you can exchange at least one pair of rooks. Now the knight is attacked. Not sure. Knight f7 could be played there. And this is now not bad for castling queenside, but okay, the queen can maybe come in. No, it doesn't do so much damage. Queen coming in, so what to play here? This e4 is under control. Maybe e5 will be the next break which black is planning. So, so after this, you might capture here immediately, but then bishop to d2. Not queen here. Queen there. And bishop takes knight. And this is now good for white. So maybe here capturing the knight. Then capturing here. And then playing this rook to there. Takes. And now bishop to here. Covering that pawn. Preparing castling. And now it's two bishops versus knight and stuff. Okay, we have the elimination immediately instead of messing about here. So, okay, no, not knight here. We had the move f6, knight b3, a5, a4, and now knight h6. After this knight h6, Deep Fritz captured it immediately, and now pawn takes will be played, and now knight h4 maybe, even attacking the bishop and preparing this check. So the bishop has to move. Now you can eliminate the bishop, or what's even better, I think, is bishop to here. And now rook to g2. Not quite sure. Or even f4 here is a move, just to prepare f5. So knight h6, I doubt it that this is a good move. And Fritz is on plus 0.86 already. So I think Fritz will win that against the Caro. Okay, let's recap what happened there. And let's recap some main variations here in this opening. Okay, this is so far so normal. Knight bd2, f6, knight b3, a5, a4, and now the move g5, which would have been a nice opportunity for black to play g5. And now what to do? c4, maybe even h4, h5, and only then play this knight there, because you don't want to play g4 now. Black is threatening g4, so maybe knight h2, but this doesn't look so appealing. g5 anyway, takes, knight takes, bishop takes, and knight there. Bishop here check, and knight f7. And yeah, for one pawn, I don't know. Black has some attack, so this is an option, but you don't have to go g4 here. You can also go knight here, prepare the move g4, but then you kind of lose that pawn. So, okay, knight here. Maybe that move. But then this can just be bad here because of bishop there, check. Knight there, king there. I'm not sure if this is so bad for black. I would go king e7, not go for this, because f4 will come anyway. Yeah, okay. So, knight here immediately would be the best move. Prepare g4, so g4 from white. The knight goes back, and now, yeah, next move, black is gonna castle, and this g5 pawn is very nice. And for example, here, what can you play there? As white. Yeah, moving the knight, playing f5. Not sure about this. Maybe bishop here to exchange his bishop, and then go knight there. Covering everything. Now this g5 is really covered very good. This h4 break is under lock and key, and black can maybe push h5, so this would be nice to investigate later. But let's go back to the game, to the actual game position. Here we had knight h6 immediately, and after bishop takes h6, pawn takes h6, we don't have the move knight h4, we have the move e takes f6, and now bishop takes f6 followed by bishop d3 will be the continuation. Bishop takes, queen takes, and now, yeah, now it's really a bad position for black. I have no idea how to put this. You have a little play on the g file, but not very much. And your e pawn is weak, so maybe queen e7. Prepare castling queenside and put some rooks to the open file, but then rook here, castling queenside, for example, and then not sure, rook e3, takes, and rook there, and now you have to go knight here, or to defend the pawn. No, rook here just loses the pawn anyway, so knight f8, and this is a pretty bad. Something is with my laptop. This is a pretty passive position for black. So let's, yeah, this g5 option is really, really nice. Here instead of knight h6, g5. Takes, and h3, maybe takes is wrong. Yeah, but you have to, not h5, but knight, yeah, here. Yeah, this would be a better position for white to be in, for black to be in than the other one. So, no, we don't have knight h6, we had f6, knight here, a5, a4, and now knight h6. Bishop takes h6, pawn takes h6, bishop, pawn takes f6, bishop takes f6, and now we have a strange move by Monarch. We have to move castles, allowing bishop takes here, f takes, okay, it strengthens black's position here a little bit, but Okay, still, how to crack this? And let's see the evaluations. Both sides are happy with their position. I see Black's king is a little bit in danger, but nothing bad happens here so far. This knight is pretty much stranded there. Has to reroute, but maybe something like b6 and c3 will be played in the future, and then this knight will hop around maybe to g3, maybe to e3, and put some pressure on the king side. Maybe even to c1 to d3. Yeah, this is a nice route for the knight. Knight to c1 to d3 to e5. This is the route I would go for. So let's see, queen c7 by rook fe1 first of all, and then queen d8 to c7 is calculated by Monarch 1.7. Queen to c7, maybe preparing to go c5. So knight here, knight c1, let's say, c5, c3, takes, rook here, knight there, queen here, queen takes queen, rook takes, rook here, maybe something like this will be played, and then h3, for example. But it's not such a bad position for black, I wouldn't say so. But okay, let's go king g7, just do anything. Not b4, not b3. Take the rook. Rook takes, and now b4. Pawn takes, knight takes, attacking the rook. Rook attacks knight. Knight attacks rook. Rook attacks knight. Rook here. Now rook here check, king there. But it's not such a bad position for black at all. Okay, the knight can come in here, you have a pawn there, but the rook can attack this pawn, and how do you defend it? So it's not such a bad position for black at all. So it's not so easy to crack. So c5 is the major issue. So we had queen d2. Now going after this pawn. So let's say f4, just to block this attack. And then still knight here, c5, knight there, e takes c, knight takes here, going after that pawn. So knight b3 defending, and now knight here attacking this pawn, attacking the bishop. So bishop here, knight takes bishop, king takes bishop, and queen takes pawn, check, king moves back, and now just c3, solidifying everything. And yeah, this should be a better position for white, or you don't even have to play c3, you can go there, attacking the knight. So knight here doesn't do so much because this pawn is defended by the queen, and then rook e2, preparing the rook move there, and then it's over for black. So there has to be something, there needs to be something. So knight here, c3, takes, knight takes. So queen d2 prepares knight c1. So f4 we have. Okay, here we have a different move. We have the move rook to e3 to e6 immediately. What's that about? Now b6, black is crumbling a little bit. Rook a e1, just, yeah, making this whole knight maneuver even worse. I think this will come at least. Maybe c5 now. Knight here. And now c4 to prevent this knight from coming there. But this knight can come to e2. Attacking this pawn. So bishop there. Maybe defends everything, but knight takes bishop, pawn takes bishop, and knight here. And if you take the knight, then queen takes here with check. King there, and rook here. Threatening mate, and if this, then that. And there is no defense against queen h. Oh, well, there is, but you lose the queen, so that's also not possible. So knight g3, let's say. Knight g3. You cannot take this. And this knight is heading towards that square right here. Maybe if it is protected, or to h4. h4 is a nice square. So, but what is black actually doing? What is black doing? Okay, there is no c5. Rook a e1 we have, and now rook to f7. And let's see, knight f3 to e5. Knight f3 to e5, blocking the connection between queen and pawn. So now queen takes pawn is a threat again, and if knight takes, then pawn takes. And if you attack the rook, yeah, the rook can take the bishop. Okay, so knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes is not on because of rook takes bishop. So the bishop needs to go away, and then this pawn is defended. So, okay, queen here attacks this c6 pawn. So rook there, and now knight here might be a move. Attacking this again, and after that the knight is jumping in here. Attacks the queen, maybe c5. Takes, and knight here. And I don't know what's the evaluation of that position. Probably black has survived, so it's not so easy to crack this. So, what did we have? Knight takes, pawn takes. What about bishop takes, pawn takes? Bishop takes, pawn takes, and knight f8, attacking the rook. Okay, the rook can take the h6 pawn. So after bishop takes, the h6 pawn is a threat. So let's go with knight takes e5, pawn takes e5, bishop g7, defends the pawn, and now queen here. Maybe c5 immediately is better. c5. But then I can jump in there anyway. And now it's even worse. So let's go with the rook move there. Knight moves there, pawn moves there. And now knight moves there, attacks the queen. Queen attacks the rook, and where is the rook going? Okay, the rook can attack the queen. It's very hard to get rid of this, so not sure if you want to take the knight. Let's say you take it with the bishop, pawn takes, and play king g7. Now the rook is still covering this pawn. So maybe g3 now. If takes, the point is you take there with check, and black is falling apart, probably. So g3. But what about knight f6 now? Just attacking the rook. Here the rook can move either to this square or to that square. Probably this is better. And now this is threatened, so not sure what to do here with black against this attack. The last couple of moves from black were not that great, I think. This queen c7 and queen d2 was really nice. Rook e6, rook c1, knight c1, rook e6, b6. Yeah, this b6 wasn't that great. c5 also not. Rook f7 was also not so great. knight here, and now we have knight takes e5, as I was expecting. And yeah, now black is falling apart. Deep Fritz is thinking black is falling apart now. Knight takes, d takes e5, attacking the bishop. Bishop g7 will be played, or even bishop g5 is a better square for the bishop. Yeah, I agree. Bishop g5 is a better square. Knight takes e5, d takes e5, bishop g5, and knight to d4. Bishop g5 and knight b3, d4. Knight b3, d4, going after that pawn instantly, so c5, and now you can either jump in with the knight, attack the queen. Yeah, this should be a good option. Queen here, rook there, rook takes, queen takes, not sure. So, also the other option is to move the rook in, but I'm not sure. The knight can fork here a little bit, so this is interesting. Bishop g5 we have, and now knight b3, d4, c5, and what's going on afterwards? That's the question. c5, there are many options for white, many tempting options, many knight jumps, many rook moves, so this is very good, and white has a pass pawn on the e-file, so that's also great. h4 is also a nice move, which is now calculated. h4 was also springing into my eyes. If bishop takes, then rook takes, and if bishop here, then maybe rook there or something to prepare queen here and attack on h7, but the rook and queen are defending this pawn, so I'm not sure. What about h4, bishop takes, and if you don't take there, if you now go for this maneuver, knight here, c5, knight there, queen there, 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 and now this is coming. So let's not go there and attack the rook. Let's keep it simple and defend everything. Rook here. Rook here. Rook takes. Threatening the bishop and this fork. So knight takes, king takes. Rook here. Oh, rook takes pawn. Okay, now everything falls apart. So you cannot go there. You cannot go there. You cannot go there. So the only square left is b7. Takes. No, not knight here. Let's say you go back with the rook. Let's say see what Fritz is coming up with. h4, knight to d4 will be the next move, I suppose. What about c5 here? Why isn't c5 played there? It's a good question. Attacking the queen. Okay, if it goes to here or to there, it will be or if it goes to here, it will be attacked from the knight. If it's so, this square is under. This square doesn't work. So if he's going there, then the rook is attacking it again. So let's go here, still covering this h6 pawn, and still keeping an eye on the rook. Then that one might be an option. Okay, the rook needs to cover the pawn. So rook here, also preventing the pawn from moving. Or does it? That's the question. Maybe you can still move the pawn. And after rook takes, you can queen. So, okay, queen takes. Rook here, check. King f7. I would like to take this. Takes, takes, takes. No, not here, of course. Takes and takes there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So no, this is not winning for white. So rook here. Yeah, now the knight is still attacked. And also the rook. So okay, we have bishop g5 here instead. So, but this is something to investigate. The c5 here. Bishop g5. Now rook takes c6, of course, attacking the queen. Queen b7. And rook takes c6. Queen b7, f6, f3 counterattack is also a move in that position, but queen b7 will be played, I guess. Rook takes c6, queen takes b7, queen b7. So let's, yeah, this is losing now for black. But there are two things which I wanna see. The first thing is this g5 advance. If this is any good here after a4 instead of knight h6, the move g5, and something like this. This should be at least playable here. Here eventually rook e2, but then just d5. Yeah, d5 is an option because, yeah, it's pinned, but this g pawn just prevents white from going f4, and this move, rook takes, doesn't work because of queen e7. So, although you can take here and take there, winning the bishop, so maybe something like this. It's not that clear, pushing e5, but okay, we do not have we had something else. We had a4, we had knight h6, bishop takes, pawn takes, e takes f6, bishop takes, bishop here, castles, takes, e1, e2, c5, rook e6, rook here, rook f7, knight here, knight takes e5, pawn takes e5, and bishop g5, h4, bishop takes h4, and knight d4, bishop g5, and rook takes here. And now the move queen b7, and the next move queen c3. And now let's see this again. This whole stuff. Yeah, it's still 3.42. So clear advantage to white. Yeah, white's position is just better. What can you say? There is two. Black has 4 pawn islands. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. And this is 4. So 4. Actually 5 pawn islands if you say these are 2 pawn islands. Rook f2 and queen b3 going after that pawn. Yeah, this knight is nicely covering this rook. Also that pawn is under threat. And that pawn, everything is now falling apart for black. This is a terrible position to be in. Rook f8 was a clear mistake. No, it wasn't. It was bad before. And yeah, this g5. I think this g5 option would have been great. At least I want to know how to play against g5 in that position. Or if g5 is possible here. Instead of knight h6, the move g5. g5 takes. This just looks so normal. And here, I don't know, rook e1 is not so great. Queen e7, just defending that pawn, but not sure if you cannot sacrifice. You can't probably. Okay. We had a move here in the actual game. After knight h6, bishop takes h6. No, not knight. Pawn takes, bishop d3. Now castles, bishop takes. And here we had that move. And now the move d3, which is covered from the rook, the knight and the other rook. Attacking the rook, so rook f8 most probably, and yeah, 4.44. So now black is really falling apart. This is how to increase the advantage. Let's give Deep Fritz a better opponent next time in this Caro-Kann line. Rook f8 and now rook e1 to e5. Yeah, this is just an excellent position for white. Black is completely on the back foot. Preparing to capture the d-pawn with the rook. Rook e5 or e7. e7 is maybe a tactical shot. After bishop takes e7, queen takes here with check. King here. Knight there attacks the bishop and also the pawn. So let's say bishop here because the queen is still undefended. Or yeah, but it's not that clear. Bishop there. Oh, okay. It's not clear at all. Actually, bishop here, bishop takes, knight takes, queen here check, queen is blocking. So this is now losing for white actually. So we have e7. Bishop takes e7 and queen takes d5. Followed up with rook f7. So let's say bishop takes, queen takes d5 with check. Rook f7. I wouldn't play rook f7. I would play, oh, queen here. Not quite sure. Queen there. Bishop there. Queen there. Queen takes. Queen takes. Bishop takes. No, this all doesn't seem right. Yeah, you get 2 picks on the second, but you're just threatening this pawn. Black can even take here because this square is defended from the bishop. But maybe b3 here. No, then you can just take it, and if it takes there, then this rook is hanging. So this doesn't work. So okay, takes with check. Let's go there. Knight here attacking the rook. Rook f7, let's say. Oh, this is a nice move actually. Knight here, forking queen and rook. And if bishop takes knight, then there is rook here check. And if the queen moves up, it's, yeah, knight here, forks, and now you can take the rook. And if taking there, then this is checkmate. So this is actually nice. If the king moves into corner, then knight to e6 attacks the rook. If the rook moves there, then you don't defend this square anymore. So queen here check is lethal because if the king moves, then it's mate. So you have to give up the bishop. Only move, bishop takes, and now you can go there because now the mate threat is covered. But then the rook just moves in here, and then mate is unavoidable. So okay, but we don't have this. We have takes and rook f7 immediately, and now rook takes e7. Queen takes e7. And now what? Now what? Queen takes e7. Queen takes e7. Knight f5. Queen d7. Knight f5. Okay, you cannot take the knight because the rook is pinned. So you have to do something with the queen. Queen to d7 is played. Knight h6 just picks up the exchange, so you have to go there. And now what? Queen takes rook, knight takes, king takes, and rook there check. You have to defend the pawn. Now it's 5 pawns versus 4 pawns, but this is really the best you can get out of it. And knight takes h6 is on the board. King f8 will be played. And now rook d6. Yeah, rook d6 is better. Just attacking the queen. Queen needs to keep an eye on the rook. So let's say queen here. Then you have time for queen there and this check over here. Oh, okay. rook d6, queen here, knight takes, queen takes, and queen to g5 is the move. Okay, threatening rook here, but I would have played queen e5, threatening rook here and queen there. So, but okay, we have queen g5, threatening rook there, so you have to do something about this. Queen g7, most probably, rook there anyway, queen there, there, check, king there. Now rook here, queen there, check, and it's over. So there are a lot of mating options. Rook here, queen there, so the rook... Nah, the king has to go there. Anyway, so is this losing material for black? This queen g7, queen f5, queen here. Now rook there. Yeah, I think it doesn't take that long anymore. Rook bf8, but this doesn't matter. You take this with check, and or even better, you give that check, and if rook here, then you give this check. You have to block with the queen. Takes, takes, and now bishop takes, queen takes there, so it doesn't really matter. Many lines are winning. So, but why rook f8? Okay, clearly the queen is hanging. If you try this, then check, king there, check, king there. No, 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 no. If queen f8, then there is a mate in 1. So you have to cover this. So this one, check. If you go there, I want to find this now. I want to find that now. You can always do something like this, going into a winning end game, or at least trying to. So queen g6. So now I have a couple of questions to Fritz. The game is over. Deep Fritz has won. So now let's ask Deep Fritz a couple of questions to that game. Very nicely played from Fritz. So let's see how long it was theory. This was all given. Here knight b7, castles, and bishop e7. Knight bd2, f6, knight a5, a4, and now knight here. So the first question I had is, how is this position? It's a little bit better for white with f takes e5. What about g5 here? This is what I wanted to see. g5, it's still playable. Rook fe1 is the move, or h3. But h3 is even due to h5. What about knight to here? Then e takes f6, bishop takes f6, bishop here castles, h4, here takes, bishop takes, knight takes, and rook e1, which is playable for black, actually. This is actually playable for black. So takes. What about g5, g4? This is throwing it away, right? Bishop e4, even. Bishop e4, and if bishop d3, then you take on f3, queen takes f3, and you play e5. Okay, knight here is a nice move. Bishop f5, castles. Yeah, this is a playable position for both sides. So, and the real line goes with rook fe1, h6, h3, bishop there, queen there, c4. This is the line Fritz is giving, with some prospects for white, but not so much. I think this is more, yeah, it's a little advantage to white, but nothing to write home about. Okay, this is the g5 line. Knight h6 we had, which is not much better. Bishop takes h6, pawn takes h6, and f takes e6. Castles, bishop takes. H4 takes. Knight here. Why not c5? This is the next question I had. Knight f5. Blocking the connection. Okay, but if rook takes f5, then queen takes here. Oh, this was the threat anyway. Knight takes, rook takes, queen takes. What about rook f7 here? Queen takes a8. Okay, so let's try rook here. Rook e7 check, just picks up the queen. Okay, there is not much to do. Knight f5. If the rook defends the pawn, then knight takes h4. Okay, so that's why bishop g5 was played, because c5 just loses. Queen takes, knight here, queen there, knight here check. Okay, wait a bit. I saw something else. What about rook f6? Isn't this just crushing the hell out of it? Rook f6 is also nice. King g8 and queen d5. Queen h8 and rook there. Queen here. It's not so easy because you don't have to play the queen. Queen e5, king here. There. Okay, so rook here. What about queen going back? What about queen going back there? Then it's a mate in two. Because the rook is hanging. Okay, rook here, queen there. Check. Attacking the queen. If the queen moves, then the rook is hanging, and this is lethal. This is a mate. Okay. Queen f5 is also good. King here, rook there, and rook there. Check. Taking the queen, and here Monarch resigned. But why that move? Why not this move? This is what I was thinking about. It's made in 5 while queen d5. Queen here, queen there, threatening check. Threatening the rook. So the rook moves to attack the queen. Let's say then queen b8 check. This is nice. Rook here and queen here check. Forces the queen to come up, and then this is checkmate. Next move. So very nice, very nice. Very nice, very nice. So let's see where the first major mistake was in that game. A4, A5, wait, A4, A5, F takes E5, first A5, A4, and here queen B6 or queen C7. This is the thing here. This is still should be playable, I think. Let's ask Stockfish for a minute, because this will be the next game starting position. What about that position? F takes E5. This should be played here. F takes E5 should be the but A5, A4. It's not that great, so really better is to take here on E5. D takes E4 and now go C4, C5, and after bishop D3 doing something like that. And white should be better. So, this has to be investigated a little longer, but it's not. So here, instead of f6, the move h5 is very interesting here. I really want to... No, knight b3 and now knight there. This is what I suggested. A4 and now bishop to g6. Now a5, knight f5. This is all theory. Also now c4 should be played. Also the main move. D takes c4 or a6, and it's an even position. So instead of c4, maybe bishop f4. Let's try bishop f4. And let's give this as my new game starting position. This will be a super epic match between Deep Fritz 14 and Deep Hacks 13.2. Hacks will be black and Fritz will be white. And let's see which engine is stronger. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Ciao.